Good afternoon. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Satori Metropolis White. This watch will be available from satoriwatches.com. Satori are a British microbrand, and on Sunday the 15th of May they will be launching their Kickstarter campaign for the Companion Collection. The Companion Collection are 4 watches, including this white version. The colours will be Covert Black, Metropolis White, Forest Green and Marine Blue respectively. The retail price of the Companion Collection will be £595. However, on the launch day of the campaign there will be a super early bird price and you can purchase the watch for only £446, which is a significant saving on the retail price of £595. So firstly, let's look at the box that the watch comes in, and then I'll talk you through the specifications of the piece. So the watch box comes protected by this matte black cardboard sleeve. The watch I'm going to be reviewing is a pre-production prototype, and also the packaging is prototype packaging, so there will be some subtle changes to both the watch and the packaging which I will detail. As you can see, it has the Satori brand emblem embossed with Satori watches. In the production version, the sleeve will have a silver foil brand emblem, which will be more aesthetically pleasing. This is the watch box, as you can see, finished to a good standard, matte black, hinged lid to the watch box, and the Satori brand emblem is in glossy black, which contrasts very well. In the production version, we will have a Satori hex brand emblem in the inside of the lid in silver foil, which again will be very aesthetically pleasing. The watch sits on a padded pillow cushion in the base, as one would expect, and the padded pillow cushion is fully upholstered to a high standard with a black vinyl plastic. So very nice presentation. There's also a pocket in the underside of the hinged lid, and that will be a compartment to put the owner's instruction manual. With the watch, one also gets this thank you card. As you can see, has the email address of satoriwatches.com and also their website address, satoriwatches.com. And on the reverse, we have thank you and a QR code you can scan with your iPhone or Android to download the information about the watch. So the watch will also come with a microfiber polishing cloth and an owner's instruction manual, and it is covered by a 12-month international warranty, which is very reassuring. So, with regards to the specifications of the piece, this is the Satori Metropolis White, which is part of the Companion Collection. We have a 43mm case diameter. We have a 50mm lug-to-lug measurement, a thickness of 11.6mm, and a lug width of 20mm. The fabric canvas strap tapers from 20mm at the lugs down to the buckle and tang, and as you can see, the stainless steel buckle and tang is signed to a high standard with Satori's brand emblem engraved. Nice heavy gauge of metal to the 316L grade stainless steel buckle and tang, and it's got a matte bead blasted finish throughout, no sharp edges, no burrs, and I like the thickness of it because it's going to last for a good length of time. 2 keepers on the canvas fabric strap, one slides, one's fixed as one would expect. So I'll show you the underside to the strap. So on the top side we have a woven canvas fabric which is very tightly woven. It's very like a Kajora strap, flawless stitching around the perimeter, plenty of holes in the strap to allow for fine tuning the length, which is good. The underside is lined with genuine leather, as you can see, and I understand that in the production models Satori have decided to change the tan leather. They're going to use a black leather underside lining, and I think that's the correct decision, because the problem with tan leather linings to the underside of straps is with perspiration and sweat and dirt they quickly become stained and they go black. So it makes more sense to use a black leather lining on the underside, because that doesn't discolour, that doesn't stain with perspiration and sweat stains, and therefore it looks better long term. So that will be in the production models. I'm pleased to see they've used quick-release stainless steel spring bars rather than conventional spring bars, because that means one doesn't need a spring bar tool. It's often the case with fabric straps such as Kajora straps and canvas fabric straps like this one. It's a very tight fit to get a spring bar tool in between the edge of the strap and the interior of the lugs. So by using quick-release spring bars, one doesn't need a spring bar tool, and it makes changing the straps much easier. With regards to the rest of the specification, we have a flat sapphire crystal with clear AR coating on the underside, and the clear anti-reflective coating does an outstanding job of reducing the glare and the highly reflective nature of the mirror polished syringe hands. These silver syringe hands contrast very well with the matte white dial and also the concave profile to the index chapter ring. I like the contrast of the black Arabic numerals, and they also complement the concave chapter ring, which is fully indexed with minute ticks, and also the indices are printed BGW9 Superluminova. Good symmetry to the dial layout, and the legibility is good, the functionality is good. It's also very well thought through. We have a nice black frame around the date complication at 3 o'clock, and it's just a really good original dial design. Satori deserve full credit because this watch isn't an homage to anything else. Every aspect of this piece is completely an original design. The symmetry of the dial complements the syringe hands, and I really like the legibility. The dial isn't over-branded with unnecessary text or specification. We simply have the Satori Hex brand emblem at 12, and then at the 6 o'clock position we have Satori Automatic, just the right amount of information for a contemporary field watch, which can be worn as a daily wear piece. The 43mm head of the piece gives good wrist presence, but one thing I really like about this piece is it is only 11.6mm thick, which is quite low profile for an automatic piece. Usually with automatic pieces powered by the SW200-1, I would expect the thickness to be circa 13mm. But if you look at the screwed down stainless steel case back, you can see it's actually very low profile for an automatic. Usually automatic pieces need a bubble back style case back to allow for clearance for the rotor on the underside of the SW200-1, but they've managed to get the stainless steel case back very low profile. As you can see, it's very flat rather than being a bubble back profile to it. Mirror polishing is absolutely flawless, and we have the specification engraved around the circumference to a high standard. Just absolutely beautiful to look at. The quality of the finishing is outstanding. Now, one thing I really like about it is the embossed Hex Satori brand emblem. They've done a really good job of the S. It really is a very good original design, and I like the matte background to it. It's got a nice 3D effect. Just absolutely gorgeous the way the mirror polishing catches the light. Very smooth and flat and comfortable to wear against the wrist for long periods of time, such as 8 to 12 hours per day. So it's a large piece with wrist presence of 43mm, but due to being 11.6, it's low profile. So I'll give you a wrist shot and you can see how it fits on my 8-inch wrist. Now, as you can see, the canvas fabric strap is just a fraction too short for my 8-inch wrist. But however, I'm not going to be critical about this, because for the majority of collectors with a 6 to 7-inch wrist, this will fit you no problems whatsoever. It would even fit up to a 7.5-inch wrist. You could engage the end of the strap in the two keepers. So that's something to bear in mind. If you have a larger wrist of 7 to 8 inches, you may want to fit a longer strap, but if you have a 6 to 7-inch wrist, this canvas strap will fit no problems whatsoever. So as I've discussed, 43mm, it's a large head of the piece. It does wear with wrist presence, but however it's deceptive. It actually feels and wears like a 40 or 41 due to being very slender. It's very low profile. 11.6 means that it's easily going to slip underneath a shirt cuff if you wear business shirts. So although it's a contemporary field watch, it could potentially be worn as a daily wear piece. Very well balanced because it's only 86 grams on the 20mm canvas fabric strap. They've made the correct decision by putting on a canvas fabric strap because it makes it very lightweight but also very comfortable. And the fabric weave, which is grey, it's just very nice. It does complement the matte white dial and the concave black chapter ring very well. So just a gorgeous piece. I really like the bead blasted matte effect to the case and the bezel. It really does capture the essence of a field watch but with a modern design. And it does have that tool watch aesthetic. They made the correct decision by making it matte throughout, even in between the lugs, no mirror polishing whatsoever. And it makes a refreshing change from brushed satin finishing to the tops of the lugs, and the flanks aren't mirror polished. Every facet of this piece is a matte bead blasted effect, so it's very nice. So with regards to the crown, it's solid 316L grade stainless steel, knurled finish, which is very grippy, and it's embossed with the Satori Hex brand emblem to a high standard. It's a push-pull crown which provides an effective hermetic seal to 100 meters. The advantage of having a push-pull crown versus a screw-down crown is in the closed position, one can manually wind it. One doesn't need to unscrew the crown in order to manually wind the SW200-1 automatic. One can feel the tension in the mainspring gradually building up. Absolute pleasure to manually wind the SW200-1. You'll know from my previous reviews this is one of my personal favourite movements. Pulling it out to the first click position is the quick set date complication position. If you look at the date window, you can see the quick set complication works as one would expect. Nice positive indexing. One can feel the date wheel clicking over to the next day in the month. So absolute pleasure to set the date. Pulling it out to the second click position on the crown hacks the movement. If you look at the second hand, you can see I've now hacked the movement, so it's possible to stop the movement dead to set the time precisely to the second. Nice firm resistance to the gearing in the SW200-1, no backplay clockwise and anti-clockwise. Absolute pleasure to set the time. One of my personal favourite movements. Pushing it back in's got a nice positive click, and that restarts the movement. So the SW200-1 is the correct choice for a field watch, and it's also a reliable, well-proven workhorse Swiss movement, the correct choice. I really like it. So with regards to the Lume test, let's test the Lume and see how it performs. So as always, I'm going to use my 100 UV LED torch to charge it up to the absolute peak. Right, so that's now fully charged, and as you can see, it has not disappointed. This is BGW9 Superlume Nova. Now, there is room for improvement. I would like to see more layers of BGW9 applied to the syringe hands and also the printed indices. I'm pleased to report that Satori have responded to feedback, and in the production models they are going to apply more layers of BGW9 Superlume Nova on both the syringe hands and also the indices in order to enhance the performance. But it is acceptable, as you can see. One can clearly orientate the dial, and one can also clearly differentiate between the shorter hour hand and the longer minutes hand. Also, I like the fact there's a rectangle lume on the sweeping second hand. One can see the second hand sweeping around the dial. Now bear in mind, this is a field watch. It's a daily wear piece, it's not a dive watch, and this is acceptable lume performance for a field watch. One can read the time in the dark, so it does perform to an acceptable standard. But another notable enhancement Satori are going to make is they are also going to apply BGW9 to the Arabic numerals on the dial, and that will further enhance the legibility of the piece. But this is good. I think this is clearly top grade BGW9 Superlume Nova, so they haven't cut any corners with regards to the specification, but it just needs more layers, and they've addressed this, and they're going to apply more layers to the hands and the indices. It's glowing brightly, and it will continue to glow for a good length of time, as one would expect with BGW9, so the correct choice of lume. Right, so let's discuss the movement use, because it's one of my favourite aspects of the piece. You will all be familiar with the Solita SW200-1 automatic. The SW200-1 is effectively a clone of the ETA 2824-2. The only difference in the architecture of the movements is the SW200-1 has an extra joule added. It has 26 joules versus the 25 joules of the ETA 2824-2. But other than that, the architecture of the movements is identical. It runs at 28,800 vibrations per hour and a frequency of 4 Hz. And as you'll know from my previous reviews, one thing I like about 4 Hz movements is the second hand has a nice characteristic smooth sweep. With Seiko movements such as the NH35A, for example, they run at 21,600 vibrations per hour and a frequency of 3 Hz. And the negative of a 3 Hz sweep is the second hand tends to judder or stutter around the dial rather than sweeping smoothly, as per a 4 Hz movement like this SW200-1. The other benefit of using 28,800 vibrations per hour is it is the perfect balance, the perfect compromise between power reserve and accuracy. 4 Hz gives a good accuracy but also good power reserve. This has 40 hours, which is perfectly acceptable. The stated accuracy of the standard grade of SW200-1 is plus or minus 20 seconds per month, so a rather wide accuracy range. However, I'm pleased to report that Satori are well regulating the SW200-1s they're using, and this one is running consistently at plus 5 seconds per day, which is actually within COSC chronometer limits of -4 to +6. So +5 is excellent accuracy, 40 hours is perfectly good power reserve, and it has hand binding and hacking, which is useful complications, and the quick set date complication is also very good. So correct choice of movements. Now, I'm very pleased to see them using the SW200-1 rather than using the NH35A or alternatively the Miyota 9015, which are usually the default options for microbrands to use as cost-cutting measures. The SW200-1 is a more expensive movement, but it's higher grade, it's better quality, and it's also better quality than the PT5000, which is made in China by HK Precision Technology. I do like the PT5000, as you know, but the SW200-1 is Swiss made. It is a better quality movement. So correct choice of movements, no cost cutting measures, and I really like it. Now with regards to the finishing to the head of the piece, it's matte blasted effect throughout to the head of the piece. No sharp edges, no burrs to the case, very well finished throughout. The bezel is also very aesthetically pleasing, and it's a unique design. I've never seen this style of stainless steel bezel before, because it's got a domed profile to it, but it's also got scallops in the bezel all the way around, which gives it a real tool watch aesthetic as a field watch. So it's very aesthetically pleasing, looks very good, and it contrasts very well with the mirror polishing to the screwed down caseback. The caseback provides an effective hermetic seal to 100 meters, which is perfectly good for a field watch, and also the push-pull crown is 100 meters of hermetic seal, again perfectly acceptable. Often it's the case with field watches, they only have 50 meters of water resistance. To get 100 meters is very good. This isn't a dive piece, it's a daily wear piece, a field watch. So 100 meters is very strong specification. So very good. Now lastly, I'll summarize the piece. What do I think of it overall? Well, when I'm considering reviewing a watch on my channel, the watch should meet two criteria. It should be both excellent quality and excellent value at the respective price point. So the super early bird launch price on the Kickstarter campaign will be £446. So I'm going to base my valuation on that early bird price. £446. Yes, I consider it to be excellent quality, and yes, I consider it to be excellent value at £446. This is absolutely loaded with specification. Sapphire crystal with AR coating, BGW9 Superluminova on the dial and hands, and 100 meters of water resistance, and we've got a Sellita SW200-1, which is very well regulated, running at +5 seconds per day within COSC chronometer limits of -4 to +6. No cost-cutting measures whatsoever. They've addressed any shortcomings. For example, they're going to make the strap thicker to better balance it with the head of the piece. They're going to change the tan leather strap on the underside, the tan leather lining rather, to black to better improve it. And the other change they're going to make in the production models is they're going to apply more layers of BGW9 to the hands and also the indices, and fully lume the Arabic numerals. So they really are taking this to the limit. They are enhancing it to the feedback they've received from collectors, and I think it's good to see a microbrand being responsive and making enhancements before they put the watch into production. Now is the time to do that, to make those amendments when it's at the pre-production prototype stage. So yes, I'm going to highly recommend it to you for consideration. I hope you've enjoyed my review of the Satori Metropolis White, which is part of the companion collection. Please feel free to post your own comments below the video. Thank you very much.